Hey everybody, on this episode of the GH Report, it is 2017, and I guess you must have all got coal in your stocking because your gift is you have to deal with just me today on the GH Report. Let's do it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Whoa, look at that. A little late, but we're still here for you this Sunday. It's the GH Report right here on AfterBuzz TV. I would say that there's all of us here today, but look at this. It is just me, Lucretia.
No. You have me in here.
That's
dude.
true. You are correct. I'm never alone. That's right. as long as you look, listen to that voice above, or sideways, you're never alone.
Yeah, I guess sideways. Huh? I didn't even think about that.
That's true. So, hey, everybody, I'm your single host today, Frank Moran. You can follow me on Twitter at HappyGoJackie. Usually we have Lucretia Lyon and, of course, the dad that we all love the most, James Lett Jr. Both are on assignment, traveling the world, signing fans' autographs, answering fans' questions, giving out lots of hugs like that. But as you heard that voice, I am not alone in the booth, in the engineering booth. We've got Alexis Torres.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so look at that. So now...
Never alone. I got
Thank you.
One-man wolf pack right now.
Woo!
You got this. You got this.
Okay. Now, folks, you can always like us on Facebook, give us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hop in the chat, share your thoughts about that. You know what? Because it's just me, and I'm sure I have lots of stuff that I'll be ranting about through the course of the episode. But you know what we'll do? Also open up the phone lines as well, give you guys a chance to call. I know it's been several weeks since we've been on the air after this long holiday break, so you may have some thoughts about the show. You may just want to yell at me for being solo and all the dumb nonsense that'll be coming out of my mouth. You may want to just say hi to Alexis. You know, maybe you've missed Alexis and you just want to say hi to her.
But we missed you too, Frank. You shush.
No, that's not true. But feel free to start calling in. But in the meantime, I will just start breaking down some of the shows because it's been a while since we've talked. So a lot of stuff has been happening in Port Charles. And I guess we'll start with the one thing that I guess is finally, I'd hoped would reach a conclusion, but it seems like it's going to be drawn out a little bit further, and that is Hayden and Finn and their illness being cured. So, of course, Finn comes up with the miracle solution there, working with Brad. They synthesize a drug, and they give it to Hayden. And it works. Hayden is cured, finally, after all the organs shutting down and potential system failure. It looks like it was going to be your last days. Finn goes rogue and says, you know, I'm going to sneak into the hospital. I'm going to give Hayden this cure. We're going to make it work. And it does work. So look at that. Finally, Hayden is cured. And it appears, even though we don't see actually Finn taking the cure, everyone's talking about that he is taking it, but he's still showing signs of you think it's symptoms of the disease, but I think we're realizing now it is just withdrawal from now that he's cured, he still needs the Zen that he was taking to kind of stave off the effects of that illness. So now he's become just hooked on Zen. So he may be cured from the illness, but he's still got that drug addiction now coursing through his veins. So, great. So more with Finn and his medicine and more injection scenes. So excited about this. Not really. I just was hoping that they could just stop this cold, but I guess it does make sense. This man was using a highly addictive drug, and during the whole course of this entire storyline, everybody talked about how addictive Zen was, and everybody was freaking out when they found out that Finn was taking it. They all just assumed he was an addict, not realizing that it was helping him stave off the effects of this illness. But now that he doesn't have to worry about that, you can just see him kind of getting the shakes, and just injecting Zen. So I don't know how long this is going to drag out. I would hope sooner rather than later. Let's just move on. Let's just see Finn and Hayden post needles and see what happens with these two lovebirds that are kind of having their blossoming love develop right in front of us. We also get to have Tracy there, just being that kind of almost like parental figure in her life, even though Hayden's mom does show up because Elizabeth calls her and says, hey, guess what? Your daughter's dying. You need to get here. And I was really hoping that call would have been to Jeff Weber, but does not turn out to be. Turns out to be Hayden's mom, who just happened to get sprung from jail and conveniently was not going to tell her daughter that she was out of jail until Christmas Day. So that's cool. Just been gone for months and months and probably released from prison for months and months. And, you know what? The first person I call after I find out that I'm released from jail, after I take this hit for my daughter, I volunteer to go in prison in her place. I don't bother calling her to let her know I'm released. I'm just going to let her sit with that kind of those feelings of me being in jail possibly, and just come up months later and go, oh, guess what? I've been out for a while, but I decided to wait till Christmas to come and surprise you. Sure. Cool, Mom. Way to go. But I like that nobody really seemed to want her around very much. I like that Tracy and Finn pretty much just like said, all right, get out. You've said your hellos. You said that you care about her, so start stepping. So, we'll kind of see what the next step of this Finn and Hayden relationship is. I assume that Finn is going to keep this Zen addiction hidden from everybody else because he don't want to show signs of weakness. But it's, of course, going to start affecting things. So we'll see how long this takes. I'm hoping less than a month. It'd be great to have them move on and I guess take him, to some clinic, maybe do some detox with them or something so they can get him off of that and move on to something else. The other huge storyline that's been going on here is Valentine, Nina, Lulu, Dante, Laura, and Anna. So we'll just put it on our huge umbrella. And I will say right now, the one thing I love about the storyline is I love how awkward every Lulu and Charlotte interaction is, and how much Charlotte does not really care for Lulu whatsoever. Does not, wonders if she spends too much time with Lulu, she starts getting uncomfortable and just wants to go home and hang out with Valentine. And I love seeing a Lulu just be stymied at this because now that she knows that this daughter exists, man, she just is like a dog with a bone. She does not want to let it go. And I like seeing her fail continually at these efforts to get this, and of course she wants to go and get full custody from Valentine, and certainly that made it a dangerous situation because the way that Valentine was introduced, and we've talked about this many times before, is that he comes in killing Nicholas, so already he comes off as a terrible bad guy as opposed to having some kind of like moral ambiguity, some shades of gray to him. We see him holding everybody hostage and killing Nicholas, so already we are convinced that he's not a good guy. He's not really above board. And then the show had to really work to kind of show us more of the sympathetic layers. They introduce the whole connection with Charlotte, that he is indeed her father, and that his DNA was taken without his permission to help father this child there, since Stavros couldn't do that. And you see that he had a rough childhood. So I felt like you were putting they made it so hard to dig out of that hole of Valentine. And even now, I have to admit, I do like the character better, but man, I think it would have been better if they had introduced him with more shades of gray as opposed to such a clear-cut, just bad thing that he had done. But I do like Valentine kind of just slow playing it all. I mean, he knows that, of course, once Lulu found out about Charlotte, that she would most likely want full custody, given what he did to Nicholas, even though he will never admit that he actually did murder him. And who knows? For all we know, if Nicholas comes back on campus, we may find out that he and Valentine were in on something. Who knows? There's many different ways you could write it around to even further backpedal what Valentine did, so to make him look more of a, at least, if not heroic, at least morally gray person. But so he starts he knows that that's what Lulu's going to want to do once he finds out that Charlotte is indeed hers and Valentine's. And I like that Valentine's kind of slow playing it. His idea is like, all right, I want to just show how bad of a parent that she is so that when she does try to sue for full custody, I'm going to have all this ammunition against her. So invites her over to Christmas Day over at Cassadine Manor and brings everybody over. And I just liked Lulu wanting to give her a gift that already Nina's given her, and so she's already feeling like she's failed with this. Charlotte really doesn't have want to do much with her, and I liked even Rocco in that scene. They bring young Rocco, and the poor actor playing Rocco looked like he had very little interest in being that scene in real life because he kept on looking over to the side like, why am I here? What is going on? What am I doing? But I did like, though, is another guest that Valentine invites is he invites Emma and Anna as well. So it was nice to have Emma back on the canvas. The idea is that she came a little bit early for Christmas, so she's hanging out with Anna while Robin and Patrick are still flying in from Berkeley. So they go over to Cassadine Manor, and of course Anna makes sure that Emma reminds Emma, like, hey, guess what? We're just gonna go. We're just gonna hang out. You're not gonna go snooping around for anything. And Emma says yes, but of course when she's there, I mean she's a Scorpio. She's granddaughter of a spy, or two spies. They're Robert and Anna. So of course, given her own devices and knowing that her grandmother is trying to find some information on Valentine, she's going to take any opportunity she can to kind of put on her detective hat and kind of go sleuthing around and find something. And she does. As Anna and Emma leave and they get outside, Emma says she has another gift for Anna and gives her the photo that we've seen Valentine been looking at inside that little hope chest of his for a while. So yeah, that was cool. I thought that was a really awesome scene for Emma to be able to have that moment, get that photo, and be able to give it to Anna and kind of propel that story a little bit further. And seeing Valentine's reaction to it, just the way that he was screaming about it, and just like the look on his face as Nina comes in. I've lost it, and then have to backpedal because he doesn't want to tell Nina the whole scoop about what this photo is. That was some really cool stuff for James Patrick Stewart to play. And I will admit, if we're talking about Valentine and Nina, I'm enjoying the way that this relationship is kind of developing. And I like the idea that even though Valentine, is questionable morals, he's done some terrible things, including killing Nicholas. In terms of his relationships with Nina, he's been very straightforward with her. Other than kind of revealing what the whole truth is about this photo of Anna that was taken from him, he doesn't really reveal all the full details of that. Just kind of talks around the subject, but not talking directly about it. But as he says, it was a person that he was involved with early in his life, and now he can open himself up and learn that he couldn't trust. And now with Charlotte, he learned to trust again. And Nina's feeling is, well, if you're able to open your heart to Charlotte and have that be a successful execution of a trusting, loving relationship, then perhaps it shows that you can open your heart up to someone else and have that same kind of reaction as well. Valentine's opinion is, I will always be truthful with you. And I like the idea that this person could be, that this one person has, Valentine has this one person in his life, that no matter what others' actions may do with others, with Laura or Dante or Lulu or Anna, he will kind of keep Nina as his sort of, his true, as just like somebody that he's always going to be open and honest to. And I like the idea of the two of them having just a really open and honest relationship with each other, and them being completely, they may not approve of everything that the others do, but as long as they're open and upfront about it, they will accept them for those actions because they know the whole part of them, as opposed to just this one like kind of bad aspect. They're not judging them by the one action, but they're judging them as a whole open person since they've been so open with each other. So I like if they continue fostering the relationship in that direction. That would be really cool. But all I want to see right now for just a while longer is just a lot more scenes of Lulu trying to get together with Charlotte. Charlotte really getting tired of being with Lulu, wanting just to be, back with Valentine, hanging out with Nina, just doing anything else other than hanging around with Lulu and just watch her spirits be crushed a little bit more. And the scene that I liked, there's two scenes, because Laura, it's been great since she's come back from that little break she took, and then they kind of reconnected her with Kevin. After the whole Cassidy and Island affair, she kind of went away for a little bit. Then her and Kevin kind of rekindled, which is great. And I was just waiting for her to kind of be the badass. She's somebody that was married to Luke Spencer for years and years and years and years, and had gone off on these adventures and kind of became more worldly. And I was looking forward to seeing Laura more in that mode, kind of being that fierce protector of the family now that Luke is off the canvas. And it was cool to see those scenes with Laura and Anna talking. And Laura saying, hey, if he does anything to my daughter or my grandchildren, I will kill him. And Anna, as much as she is trying to be, follow the law, and she had her stumbling block there with Carlos, but she's, and she, certainly paid the emotional consequence for that action, even though Carlos was still alive. Anna, not knowing that at the time, really still tortured herself immensely for kind of stepping out against her moral compass. And when she says, by any means necessary, and I do like that Laura said, well, Anna, as a mother and as a grandmother, that if your children or grandchildren were put in danger, you would do the exact same thing. And Anna, as much as she wants to be she's the law and she wants to be above reproach, knows that I guess if her family was put in danger, she would do whatever's necessary to protect the ones that she loves the most. So I like that little moment there. They kind of realize, all right, as much as you want to be a law-abiding citizen, and there are things in your life that you will step outside the law because they mean that much to you. So I like that little moment between the two of them. But the other part, though, is I like Laura talking to Lulu, and you can see Laura just like she was being the thinker right there, like saying, hey, what you need to do is there's something fishy with Valentine. But you know what? You can't go at him full attack because he's going to be expecting you suing for full custody. So instead, just get joint custody right now. and then start biding your time. Start just kind of laying the seeds there. The WSB is investigating him. They're going to find some information. We start building our case. We start building until we have enough information that, boom, we pull the rug out from underneath them. And I love Laura's thinking on that. She had a great idea laid out. And then you just see Lulu's reaction to it. And this was what killed me. Like, man, can we just talk about Lulu Spencer she's disappointing me as a character on so many levels. Like, this is the daughter of Luke and Laura Spencer. I don't know what the writers are doing. I just do not enjoy the way that this character is written at all. It's just either she's got babies on the brain, or now that she's with Charlotte, she just, forgoes all reason. And, it's like, where is the Spencer side of her that is cunning, that is trying to think ahead, to outplay the other one, to make a move, to play mind games with somebody, to kind of, play the long game. You're doing the long con. Where are those moves? I mean, certainly, Luke can be impetuous at times, but he's always trying to outthink his opponents, trying to think ahead, come up with, alternative means to kind of make something happen. Never just attack just directly, because, that, especially if the enemy knows you're coming, what sense is that? And for Lulu not to show any of those kind of Spencer characteristics, they'll name check him occasionally, but every time she's had a moment to kind of rise up and be kind of play the long con, or, take charge, be that hero, the writers have always kind of cut her off the legs for that. So whether it was back on Castodon Island over the summer when Valentine was first introduced and was holding everybody hostage, and she's in the catacombs, and she gets her gun and gets that gun and is going to go back and save everybody, and then she immediately just gives up her gun. So that whole scene was just wasted. When it was set up for her to come in and start kicking butt, and it was just wasted. So that was disappointing. And now you have her just clearly just not listening to Laura's plan. And that doesn't mean you have to love the plan. It sucks as a plan. Because I agree, in respect, I agree with what Lulu was saying. It's like, certainly, yes, he killed Nicholas. So why would I want my child, even though it's partly Valentine's as well, why would I want my child around the killer of my brother for any length of time? I can understand that, but also, Lulu, you're being dumb. You're being so dumb, because you're playing right into his hands. And he's been acquitted at every turn, so you've got to be smarter than him. You've got to just play the long game. You've got to get that information. You've got to lull him into a false sense of security. And then, like Laura was saying, that's when you pull the rug out from him. So those scenes right there are just, man, Lulu, you got to get it together. It's killing me. It is killing me just how just irritating this character is. But now, for the last thing we'll talk about this with Valentine and that umbrella storyline, there is the last thing that happens is because, of course, Valentine, a single parent. And so that makes it, compared to Lulu and Dante, who have a stable family home. They already have one child. Given Valentine's kind of dubious background, maybe being a single parent is not going to make him look so good in the eyes of the court, even though Laura says, hey, you know what, that's certainly not a guarantee. And in fact, at this point, Lulu could actually lose. Nina hears this as well and has tried to talk to Lulu a couple times, and Lulu just won't have anything to do with it and she's so short with Nina. Like, oh, you tried to take somebody's baby right out of the womb. What do I want to do with you? That I like that Nina just says, you know what? I'm going to do whatever you need, Valentine, to make sure that Charlotte stays with you. I am in. So much so that she proposes to Valentine that, hey, you know what? Why don't we get married right now? When they decide to take advantage of Maxi and Nathan's failed wedding, which we'll get to in just a second, because that right there was punishing. But they get married, and so now they're hitched, and so you can see that kind of throws Lulu and Dante for a second. It's like all of a sudden now, we've got somebody that also is now married, and this woman is desperately wanted a child. So how's this going to play out? And I hope it ends out in some resolution where Nina gets to have Charlotte in her life, because, man, this character has been denied this deep desire and drive to have a child for so long that to go through this whole thing and then have it at the end that she loses Charlotte, she loses Valentine, and she's back on her own again would just be, it'd be disappointing to see done to that character again. But I talked about there for a second why they were able to get married, and that's because Maxi and Nathan's wedding did not happen. And this was probably one of the low points during our time away. For me personally, one of the low points. This was From the second the episode started, and we see Maxi sneezing, and she's got cold symptoms. I was like, oh man, this is gonna stink. And the show did not disappoint. It was just terrible from just beginning to end. Which, like, so basically the whole reason that whole thing just existed was just to set it up so that the wedding doesn't happen, so that Nina and Valentine can get married at that point. So everything else. Once I kind of figured out what the end game of that was, that whole why is this wedding happening today and why is it so important? Once I saw how that tied in with Dante or Valentine being a single parent, it's like, oh man, all right, so this is what's going to happen. And just what we had to go through to get to them finally saying, hey, guess what? We're not getting married now. All right, that's cool. And just from both sides. One, we get Nathan realizing that he's still married to Claudette. And then Maxi being so sick that she first takes too many sleeping pills and passes out. So they have to wake her up. And then, of course, she's all wet. She's sneezing. She sneezes coffee all over her wedding dress, and then that's ruined. So she's too sick to do the ceremony. And I'm just thinking, man, that's why Felicia was here. That's why Mac was here. That's why Lucy was here. That's why Robin was here. You have 4 great characters brought on for this just one day in these few scenes. And that was it. That was all we did. I mean, we have Lucy practicing some lines that she's going to say during the ceremony, and then bringing in a sign that she's going to be closing the chapel. That was it. That's where you brought Lucy Cohen. Lynn Herring, you bring her in just for that scene. And I was like, come on. And then Felicia and Mac, that's what they get to do. At least I enjoyed Mac. He had like the sipping whiskey, and I did like the little scene of Dante, Nathan, and Mac toasting, and the idea that Nathan says you got to look at each other in the eye if you're going to toast, otherwise it's bad luck. So I like that moment, but oh man, just everything else about that whole wedding that never happened was just, it was so painful to watch. So painful to watch. I'm going to continue breaking down these stories, but folks, if you want to chime in, give us a call, share your thoughts about the storylines as well as I'm breaking them down, feel free to give us a call. The number is 424-253-0749. That's right, that is your direct line to a good time right here on the GH Report. Alexis will take your call right in the booth there.
Uh-huh.
Yep, is that true? Can I say that, Alexis?
Sure.
Yeah? All
Yeah,
right.
that makes a lot of sense.
The other storyline we got here is the other one that's been driving me crazy too is Alexis and Julian. Can we just talk about these two knuckleheads for a while? This storyline, man, I see what they're trying to do with Julian and kind of some semi-path of redemption. You're finding out that a lot of the actions that he had taken weren't by his own accord, that he's being forced, as we know by reading the trades and stuff, that his assumed to be deceased sister is back on the canvas as well and kind of forcing Julian to do these things. I still don't understand where the knife against Alexis's throat came from anything other than just Julian snapping, because I don't think his sister would have said, you know what, and during this you need to put a knife through to your wife's throat. You need to do that. I don't see that as a motivation, so I can see them backpedaling in some of the things, but I don't know how they're going to be able to still backpedal away from Julian holding a knife to Alexis's throat. And they seem like they're trying to make this couple kind of reconnect again. And man, it is not fun watching any of those scenes. It is not fun watching just Alexis take drink after drink after drink, while Julian just sits on the couch because he can't really move too much, and he's got his crutch and he's got his leg bound up. And he's just calling her, he's like, I know you're drunk, you must be hungover, I emptied out your bottles. These scenes are just not exciting to watch. Oh, do we have somebody on the line?
We do.
Oh my goodness.
Here we go.
Fingers crossed.
Hi, you're calling into the GH Report live with Frank Moran. Go ahead.
Well, look at me, I sound so official.
Live with Frank Moran is
Oh my goodness. Yes, sir. How are you?
Mike.
Mike,
Yes,
how you doing,
Mike
bud?
from Hollywood.
Mike from Hollywood. Good to hear from you. How's your New Year treating you?
Oh, it's great.
Excellent. So you've been watching GH through the break?
Yes, I've been catching it off and on, so I'm glad you're recapping it.
There have been some highlights and there have been a lot of lowlights. I don't know how you've been enjoying
It's been a lot of lowlights.
Oof. What's been sticking with you?
Well, I would say the Christmas miracle was not Finn finding a cure for Hayden. It was actually that they brought all three of Elizabeth's kids on screen at one time.
Yes, we finally name-checked the other two. Like, hey, guess what? There are 3 kids here.
Right, it's not just Jake. We have other kids. That was the highlight. But, you know, I usually agree with you, but on the part I don't agree with you, because Nina is going to end up on the losing end.
Man, but it's like that's going to be so disappointing to see that done to that character again. That's going to be very frustrating.
Well, I love Nina, but you know this is GH, and we know GH writers. Once they put a character in a certain spot, they will go through that same storyline 43 times before they get out of it.
No, that's very true. And it almost seems like if it's a case like Patrick, who went through that storyline 3 times and then he left the show. So I feel like you do that and then...
Patrick, Liz, Sonny is currently going through... Sonny and Carly are in the same storyline right now.
Man, that storyline. Man, we just need to get going with this Nell thing. Please.
Yeah. So... that storyline is the same one, and Nina is now the desperate woman, and they gonna have her keep playing that role. I don't know when she gonna find happiness, but I don't think it's gonna be with Valentine.
Man, it's it just I feel like this is gonna be just you're setting this character up to have another disappointment. So she's gonna find out that she's given her heart to this guy, or she's already just. I feel like she's jumping in more because of the kid and less for even she's. Kind of intrigued by Valentine, but not completely head over heels for him.
Well, Nina is a flawed character, so she kind of seeks out other men that are flawed, probably because she doesn't think she could get a upstanding good man.
Yeah. Now,
because remember when she was with Rick? She was with Rick. He was that was another one.
That's
another storyline.
That's
Nina
right.
being used.
No, and I like that. I like that Nathan name checked that with Nina. So I was like, "What about Rick? What are you doing? You're doing the same thing."
Right. Yeah, but you know when Brooklyn Ray, when Emma stole that picture, that was so funny to me.
It was just that right there is like taking a character that hasn't been seen for a while. You bring him in for an episode, and you give them a nice piece of the storyline to do.
Yeah, and too bad they had to do it with a little kid, and Felicia comes in and breaks up fights and leaves.
That was it. Like her and Matt gets a toast with some whiskey, and then that was it. Like, that's it.
Yeah, they brought Felicia in there just to stand between Lulu and Nina so they didn't kill each other.
Yeah. So it's amazing how the writers of GH will bring on these great classic characters and do very little with them. And then they'll occasionally surprise you, and they'll do something with Emma, and they'll have her do like a nice little piece of the story. You're like, no, that was great.
Yeah, that was great. And Laura has been great. When she said she would kill Valentine, I really believed it. I was waiting for them to make Laura the center of her family and the protector of her family. So when she said that, I really believed her, too.
Yeah, as did I. I'm excited. So, Michael, I will let you go because we have a few other callers on the line. But thank you so much for calling. And we're going to be back. I think the whole, at least Lucretia and myself will be back here next week. So we'll give us a call then. We'll continue the conversation.
All right, you're doing a good job. Keep up the good work.
Please tell your friends.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.
All right, we've got another call.
Yes, we do.
Look at that.
Hi, you're calling into the GH report with Frank Moran. Go ahead.
Oh, man, it sounds so official.
Hey, Frank. It's Kelly from PEI.
Hey, Kelly. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. You only have me to deal with today. I apologize in advance.
It's okay, darling.
So, what do you have to say about GH right now?
I'd love to bury Nina and Valentine in our 13 inches of snow that PEI got.
Really?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, I've griped about how I feel like the way that I like having a Cassidy on the show, but I feel like the way that he was brought on was so clearly a bad guy. It just makes it tough to really root for him at this point.
Well, all cast irons are kind of creepy. So what's the difference with this guy?
Yeah, but I feel like when Stefan and Nicholas brought on, they had a lot of different shades of them, so that, you couldn't quite tell how they were going to fall sometimes, and I thought that made it more easy to root for them from the get-go. And I feel like Valentine, you're just like, man, this guy was a jerk. He killed Nicholas right out of the gate, so why should I care what happens to this guy?
Yeah, but he's going to drag poor Nina down with him.
Well, yeah, it's not going to end well, because clearly he's got some kind of a fixation with Anna.
And he's going to drives Nathan up the wall. As he already is. I just wish that wedding had happened. That's all.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess you can see why it happened, just to make it tougher for Lulu and Dante to get sole custody of Charlotte, which I don't know how you feel about those scenes with Lulu and Charlotte. As I said, I love them so much that Lulu just gets frustrated that she can't make that connection she so desperately wants with her child.
Oh, yeah. And there wasn't a DNA test or whatever to prove that she is his mother.
Yeah.
That got me kind of weird. I mean, there was DNA tests flying all over the place for the dad, but nothing for the mom.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole child custody case flies out. Now, I will ask, what do you think the connection is between Anna and Valentine is, given what we've seen so far with her hypnosis session with Andre this week?
He's a rogue WSB agent gone nuts.
Oh, all right.
And she's figured it out, or trying to figure it out.
Yeah, clearly, whatever's in that white room that room that is all blinding white is so disturbing that she's having a tough time wanting to clearly remember what that incident is.
Oh, and by the way, Canada is going to miss Friday's episode because of what happened in Florida.
Yeah, in fact, everybody missed it on Friday. So Friday's episode nationwide did not air, so it'll air on Monday instead. So
the West Coast got it because I saw it flying all over Twitter and Facebook.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, because I'm out here on the West Coast and I did not get it. Ours was preempted. So.
Yeah, ours was too here on the East Coast.
Yeah.
But according to Nathan Valentini or Nathan Bernie, whatever the heck his last name is, it's going to be Gone with the Wind, where somebody's going to get a show that's already been aired, and then a new show on Tuesday.
Oh, all right. Well, that's
so we're going to be missing Friday's episode. It's gone.
Well, I'll just have to read the recaps online to catch up. We'll do next week. Lucretia and I will do a dramatic reenactment of that lost episode.
Oh, please.
All right, Kelly.
So Dave's there too.
There you go. Yes, Kelly. Thanks so much for giving us a call, or giving me a call. I hope you have a great New Year, and we'll talk to you next week.
We need to give you a new sweater. That pink one is not doing anything for you.
No, you don't like this? No, it's not working for me?
No.
All
right.
right.
You said it on almost every show there, darling.
Well, thank you so much for calling, Kelly.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Want to do one more?
Well, why not? Let's do one more, and then we'll continue on with a few last breakdowns.
Hello, you're calling the GH report here with Frank Moran. Say your name and where you're from.
Hi, it's Simran from Florida.
Ah, Simran, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Frank. Wow, you're holding down the fort.
Well, I don't know if you'd call it
Crazy.
that. I'm merely occupying space while the two other superstars of the show are off gallivanting across the country.
You're doing a great job. I just wanted to comment on a couple of things that have just really been, I feel like you, because I've been ranting in my own head about this, about Lulu. Oh my God, she is like nuts. She needs to chill. I don't know what they've done with the Lulu character lately. I wish she had lost her memory again. Remember when she lost her memory
Yes.
a couple years ago? She needs to chill out because I feel like she's just being wasted at this point. No, you don't want to root for her anymore. You know what I mean?
No, and I feel like if you didn't know that she was Luke and Laura's daughter, and you never saw Laura around her, you would not know that she was a Spencer. And that's what's so frustrating.
Seriously.
Ugh.
Like, she needs to go hang out with Tracy again because I feel like Laura's being a bad influence on her, to be honest.
But, I felt like her and Laura's conversation, Laura laid out the exact game plan. That was smart thinking. That was a smart strategy. And Lou was like, no, I'm not going to listen. I just want his daughter now. Like, ugh. Whatever.
Well, they're not even, and this is getting into the writing, they're not using Laura to her full potential. Obviously, she's such a legacy character. She should be in the throw of things, like in the middle of everything, like taking down, it's her time now, but nope, they're just wasting it on these, Nell. Why is there so much screen time for Nell? It's driving me up a wall. She's ruining, I commented a couple of weeks back that a lot of good scenes are being ruined because Nell is always in the background, like creeping on everybody. It's ridiculous.
It is so, this whole, and Nell is just so obnoxious. Like when she's over at the Sunny's place and she's like, you know, guess what? Because I gave Carly those gloves, you know, that proves I'm never going to say anything about our stuff.
Oh my God. And she's just like staring everybody down, like, bruh, calm down. Okay. Like, and I just don't get it. Like, I've been reading articles like, you know, oh, maybe she's Carly's daughter. I don't see anything that can be the case that would make this interesting at all at this point. I'm just like, you know what? Can she just please die? And poor Michael, he never gets a good story. He's always like a side piece to Sunny and Carly's.
That's
story.
true.
And I like Sunny and Carly, I do, but come on now. It sucks.
So now, because she's been looking at this stupid music box forever, and we finally get to see what the name of on this side of this rattle is finally, and that's like the only new piece of information we get. So,
But like, it's so odd because that doesn't even. So it. I don't know. I just want her to die. Bye.
yeah,
Bye
just,
now. I was so excited because I liked the actress with the whole flashback thing. I was so excited that they were bringing her on. I was like, okay. And even her and Michael had good chemistry in the beginning, but now it's just kind of like disgusting. And you're like, what? Oh, it's so gross. And one last.
Oh, go for
go
it.
ahead.
No, go ahead. All I said I want to see is I want to see if you're going to use Bobby, have her be, because I like that Bobby's got Nell's number, but like let's have Bobby be on canvas more to see her get more involved in the storyline, not just pop up every so often.
Exactly. I love Bobby right now because she's just she's just not taking any of Nell's BS. She's
Yes.
just giving her the side eye the entire time. Yeah.
But we only see her
And
like
the
once
last-
a week. Go for it.
The last thing is I really like the Hayden and Finn dynamic a lot. I think they're a really good couple to explore. I just don't like the story surrounding them. I'm so done with the whole, you know, drug thing or whatever, you know, sick thing,
Yeah,
lizard thing. Like, stop.
because it's like just I don't understand why he's being so secretive about it. Like people know that he's been taking Zen. Why not just come forward to Hayden and Tracy and say, guess what, man, I'm having a tough time withdrawing from Zen. I think I need to do some kind of detox. But he's not, and I don't understand why.
He wants to be a man. Men.
Oh, yeah, we're jerks. We are. We think we can do it all ourselves.
Last thing, I just want to, because I don't think I've been able to say it, like, I know you didn't like him, but I really, really miss Morgan. You know, he's
come
my
on.
favorite.
No, Simran, this conversation was going so
Yes.
well, and then you pull this right at the end? What?
I miss Brian Craig. I miss his sweatpants.
Maybe the sweatpants, but, you know, I don't mind the actor. No, the actor's great. But, like, when he comes back, or whoever comes back as Morgan, I look forward to whatever the new storyline is.
Storylines again, they just kept going in the same circle with Morgan that you just felt like, well, you know, I don't even care anymore. Because it started off good, but then it was like, oh.
Yeah. I can understand why Brian Craig would want to explore other opportunities. And
For sure.
Yeah, whatever happens with that character, I'm excited because I feel like they can put him in a totally different space when he comes back on the canvas now, and I'm excited about that.
You see, I've talked to my friends and stuff about because we watch GH2, and you're another person who says when he comes back. I think he's going to come back too.
Yes, because I could see it's just, you know, you go out, you kind of explore your other options for a while, and then you realize like, hey, you know, maybe something a little bit more steady that is a great thing. So.
Well, I'm excited because I'm going to meet him next month, so because we have like a fan thing coming in Orlando. So
Nice. Well, ask him when he's going to come back on the show.
I will. I'm going to hound him. No, I don't want to be one of those people. I have to keep it cool, you know.
Keep
I
it
have
cool.
to
Keep it cool.
Be chill.
There you go. Just smell him. That's all you do.
You just a little bit. Sniff the neck a little bit.
That's right. All right, Simran. Thank you so much for calling. It was so great.
All right, no problem.
Have a great New Year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, peace out.
All right,
Bye.
bye-bye. Alexis, we did it. We ran that little phone
Nice
gauntlet.
job.
Oh, please, come on now. I'm just a simple guy, you know, in front of a mic.
Who can do no wrong? Here we
Oh,
go.
I can do lots of wrong. So another storyline we got coming up here is we're talking about Alexis and Julian. This kind of has a little umbrella effect over some other storylines as well, including Jason, Curtis, and Sam and Rudge, the mysterious pawn shop owner that we know from. They're still waiting to reveal Tanya Walker, who's going to be playing Julian and Ava's supposedly deceased sister, who we're only seeing by, parts of the sleeve, maybe the hand. That's all we're seeing so far. So Rudge is basically being her spokesperson out in the field right now until we get her official on-screen debut. But we get to see a little bit closer because, well, who else did we have back this week? We had Lucas. Finally, Lucas. Where's this guy been hiding? And which was nice. If you're going to bring this character back, you brought him back with, he's able to at least give a piece of information to kind of propel another storyline forward, which in the case it was Jason, Curtis, and Sam and their investigation down to who's behind the bombing on Julian's car. And when Sam was going to show Lucas a picture of Danny, he's like, oh, wait, this is a picture from our investigation. It's this Chinese takeout bag. And Lucas realizes, like, oh, wait, I've studied enough Chinese to know that what those Chinese characters are is not what that bag says. It says something totally different. And it says, resurrection? Was it resurrection or reincarnation? One of the two. So it says something totally different. And those same Chinese characters were on the boat that was inside the pawn shop. And I did like the scene where Curtis and Jason, man, they make a great team. Again, I will talk about how much I'm enjoying specifically the Jason and Curtis team. And then it's nice to have Sam folded in there. Of course, being pregnant, she's a little bit out of the nitty-gritty of the PI case, but she's still there as a kind of a wing support to bounce ideas off of. So it's basically Curtis and Jason doing the feet on the ground, kind of going out and doing that work. And I like that dynamic. I like them having a simple strategy of, hey, you know what? Curtis is going to follow Rudge as he leaves the pawn shop, which means it's unoccupied, and that's going to allow Jason to break in, do some snooping around, find out some more intel about what's really going on in there. That we know that there's a camera that sees everything that's happening in the pawn shop. So when Julian's sister sees Jason in there, she calls the police because she wants to get Jason out of there. And Curtis, of course, has got his police radio, his police scanner inside his vehicle, so he's able to call Jason to get him out. It's just, I really like the dynamic they're building between the two of them. Not to mention the two of them working in a food kitchen, so they can find the homeless person that was supposedly planted the bomb on Julian's car. So to see them kind of interacting and starting to interrogate that subject was really cool. So again, bright spots of this terrible umbrella storyline, which seems to be kind of redeeming Julian in a sense, but then also in some weird way kind of reuniting Julian and Alexis. I mean, they do have that Christmas Day or Christmas Eve kiss, which Julian kind of, as much as Alexis plays it off, Julian feels like, hey, you know what? I saw what was going on there. You may say you're playing this off, but I know what's what. That was a kiss. We really connected there for a moment. And Alexis was like, nope, you know what? I just fooled you. I kind of played you like you played me. I kind of gave you what you thought you wanted, and then I pulled it away from you. So I don't know. I feel like they're letting Alexis hear enough other people kind of harass Julian and kind of try to make him do what they say, like especially Rudge, that she's starting to kind of come around to believe that Julian wasn't in control of everything that he had to do while he was married to Alexis. So still, I don't know how they're going to get around the knife to the throat thing, let alone how are they going to explain this kind of reuniting to everybody in Port Charles, specifically their friends and loved ones, specifically, most importantly, all their daughters. How are they going to make that kind of fly? I don't know. But the other part of that storyline that was kind of cool is that, of course, Alexis has some involvement with Tom Baker. And Tom Baker's been involved in the Franco and Liz storyline. Franco, of course, catches him, puts him in that dog cage for a while with the dog collar. Tom Baker is able to escape out of there, turn the tables on Franco, put Franco in the dog cage for a little while. Franco has some kind of trip of the mind, kind of goes on this experience, kind of realizes like, hey, I got to be a different person than what I was. I got to be worthy of Elizabeth's love. Gets out, and we find out that Tom Baker's been killed. And the person that seems to have been with him on his last night alive was Alexis. Again, they meet at this bar on the outside of town, and they hook up on just right before Christmas Eve on this when they're having a little Christmas party. And Alexis has gone there to kind of just drink some vodka. And it seems to be that she left without paying her tab. Tom Baker comes out, kind of gets a little inappropriate with her, and then we don't see what happens yet. So we got to figure out what the storyline is. But I mean, he's dead, so it's not going to be Alexis that killed him. But certainly she was around that last night. So who knows exactly how much if Alexis actually saw the killer and is just kind of blanked out, drunk, and doesn't quite remember who the killer is, or she had passed out and Tom had left her alone and went away and then got killed. But what I can't figure out is Tom, so he escapes, and he's making this big deal, like, all right, you know what, I'm out of this room. I've turned the tables. Franco's in the cage. I'm free. I'm really going to stick it to you, Franco, now. And I felt like that he was going to go after Elizabeth, or he was going to go after Kiki, or he's going to do something that was kind of close to Franco to make him pay. And instead, it just turns out that he happened to just go over to this bar and he just happens to run into Alexis again, and then somehow gets killed over in that area. So I don't understand Tom Baker's motives that night either, because he seemed to leave Franco's studio with such a clear-cut sense of, I want to pay you back for how you treated me and just make you hurt as much as you kind of embarrassed and humiliated me. And no, that didn't seem to happen at all. So I'm kind of wondering where the writers are going with the storyline, because for a character-wise, it doesn't make any sense the way they kind of set up Tom Baker leaving that scene. But of course, with Tom Baker dead, Franco's brought in first because, you know, certainly he threatened to kill him in a general hospital in front of dozens of people. So, of course, he turns up dead. The police are going to want to talk to him first. And I'd like the scene between Liz and Franco in the interrogation room as Dante, well, first Liz calls Scotty, which is cool. So already Scotty's right there waiting at the PCPD, waiting for Franco to get brought in so that he makes sure Franco doesn't get questioned without him present. So I like that. But after Scotty and Dante kind of leave the room for a moment to kind of talk about some things, Liz and Franco get into it. And the scene was irritating me the day before, where the cops came to pick up Franco for questioning, was that Franco was taking forever to say the truth that he would. He would tell, he told Jake, you know what, guess what, I gotta tell your mom something, because, you know, we can't have a lie between us on Christmas. And then took forever to draw it. It was so irritating how the show let every scene between them just kind of drag out, and they get interrupted and dragged out and then interrupted. And then he gets brought in for questioning, and then that gets dragged out. And I finally like that Liz just snapped and said, stop dancing around it. Just tell me what happened. Just tell me, stop it. And I liked every time Franco would start to kind of hem and haw and kind of try to justify it, she would just like, stop it. Just tell me what happened right now. So that is a scene that I did enjoy. And I'm curious to see where that's going to leave. I mean, Elizabeth is, you know, kind of realizing that, hey, Franco, it's great if you're on Franco's side, because he, for better or for worse, will do whatever it takes to kind of keep you safe. But is that the kind of person that you want around in your life? Because certainly what he may do to keep you safe, it may not be on the up and up. So curious to see what that means for Franco and Liz going forward. Another love-struck couple here is Dylan and Kiki. Of course, it's kind of what pits on them when Kiki thought that Dylan was just getting her job at Crimson to kind of keep her around, to kind of make Kiki kind of fall for Dylan. And since that night after she slapped him, it kind of been really chilly between them, especially with Dylan towards Kiki. It's like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to keep my distance. We're pretty much done. And when Kiki sees Dylan and Valerie talking over at Kelly's and assumes that they are together now, she gets so emotional, like I really blew it, that she decides that she's going to move back to Los Angeles. She's going to move to Los Angeles to get a job, start all over again. At the same time, Dylan, who's been teasing this every time things seem to go bad for him in the relationship department, always says to Tracy, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing here in Port Charles. It's not really working out. I'm heading back to Los Angeles. I got to start back my film career. Got to start back being a filmmaker. So he heads back to Los Angeles too, and you're Quartermaine, you're very rich family. You should be able to get a plane. Instead, he decides he's going to take the bus, and I have no idea why Dylan Quartermaine decided he was going to take a bus, other than it was just the most convenient plot excuse to get him and Kiki in the same space, confined for at least 5 hours as they drive from Port Charles to Detroit, which is their first stop that Dylan could get off to leave Kiki to travel on the rest of the way to Los Angeles in peace. So they, I guess, you know, they make out, they have a little drink, celebrate the new year. So it seems that they're trying to finally get these characters together, which, like, man, all I can say is it's about time. It is about time, because I have to admit, my enthusiasm to see this couple together has, and I feel bad, it's diminished, because the show jerked us around so many times with they're getting together. Nope, they're not. They're getting together. Nope, they're not. That now, by the time when it feels like they're going to, like, hey, guess what? Now they're going to be together. It's like, you know what? At this point, I don't really care that much. My enthusiasm for this couple has kind of dwindled, and it's no fault due to the actors. They do have chemistry together. It's just like, man, the writers just waited too long to let them have that moment, let them get together, so that now I'm just like, yeah, all right, great, they'll be together, and I'm not that excited about it. So I wish I was more excited about the two of them together. And hopefully when they are together and they have some more scenes and they're able to just be in a relationship and we'll see what kind of trials and tribulations they can go through together as a couple, I'll get more on board with the two of them. But right now, I'm just like, yeah, all right. I wish I could be more excited. And then, of course, we have Robin back in town. Robin shows up. She has, of course, over at Maxi and Nathan's wedding. Kind of wasted there. But then she does have a scene where she reconnects with Sonny for a little bit and touches base with him. So always nice to see Robin hanging out with Sonny and reconnect with him for a little bit. I wish I could have seen a scene with Robin and Jason, because I know she was going back to the Metro Court to talk to Robin, Jason, and Sam. And I would have loved to seen more of that conversation, or any of that conversation at all. So it's a shame, but I will take Robin at least interacting with Sonny if I can't get Robin interacting with Jason. We also get Diane with Alexis, so we get to see Alexis come a little bit of clean with Diane, but also hopefully Diane is smart enough to start picking up the signs that maybe Alexis is not doing as well as she would hope, given the fact that Alexis did none of the volunteer pro bono work at a law practice there to help low-income people with legal advice. Since she didn't do any of that, that's not really going to help her with her getting re-approved for her bar. So I'm hoping that Diane starts picking up on the subtle signals that maybe Alexis is kind of crumbling part of the scenes, and then we can get the storyline we've talked about where Diane can help Alexis through this journey back to sobriety, which would be great. And we'll just give it up for real briefly. Anytime we get to see Scotty and Franco kind of bicker at each other like petty kid and petty adult is always great. Those moments are great. Although it was creepy when Scotty tells Liz, you've always been a good girl. And for some reason, hearing Scotty call Liz a good girl just seemed really creepy to me. I was like, all right, you could have figured out a better way to say that, couldn't you have? And then we've got Ava and Julian just kind of figuring out, like, I do like anytime that Ava just starts laying into Alexis about being a lush. Not you, Alexis. The show, Alexis.
I was going to say, I was like, excuse you?
No. Nobody's.
Squeeze me?
Everybody loves when you're a lush here, Alexis. What?
Duh. Get with it. Get on my level.
That's right. And then, the last kind of romantic triangle, as we get ready to close this up, is Curtis, Jordan, and Andre. And certainly left it very tense before the holidays. And we saw a lot of chemistry between Curtis and Jordan, and figuring out what the next step was what that was going to be. And, admittedly, not really seeing any chemistry, as much chemistry between Andre and Jordan. And them coming back now and kind of reconnecting after the holidays. Yeah, man. We see Andre kissing Jordan out on a bench out there outside in Port Charles, and it just felt like at that moment, like Andre was way more into it than Jordan was. Like Andre wants to eat her face when he goes in for that kiss, and you can see Jordan is just kind of
gross.
Yeah, it was. They just wanted to eat her face, and Jordan's hands were just like, she didn't
gross.
Clench onto him. She just kind of held his elbow for a second. It didn't really seem like she was really into that kiss.
Who makes out and is like, ooh, yeah, elbow?
I'm just going to hold this elbow. That's what I'm going to do.
That's the best way to make out.
That's right.
That elbow. Look at that elbow.
Yeah, this elbow's so pointy. I love it.
Went too far, Frank.
I'm sorry.
Too far.
I don't know my boundaries. 2017, man.
You see that line? You see it? You crossed it.
I did. Oh, man. It looks so far distant back behind me. I went so far.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I'm going to slowly make my way back as we start winding down for the show here, so I can land on the side of political correctness by the time we end. What a great goal for me to achieve in 2017. We'll see. We'll see if that's possible. But I feel like the days for Andre and Jordan are numbered, for sure. And especially if we can get more scenes with Andre and Anna. I'd rather see the two of them working together and kind of reigniting that definite chemistry between those two characters. I'd rather see the two of them get into a relationship, head off, do spy, psych adventures. Let them do that, and just like Curtis and Jordan, get their freak on, as we'd like to say. Isn't that what we like to say, Alexis? I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what the kids are saying now.
That's what, yeah.
Let's get your freak on or something.
There you go. Get your freak on. Is that Missy Elliott? That's Missy Elliott, right?
Yeah.
There, look at me, guys. I've got my finger on this pulse,
Frank,
right?
You're so cool.
I'm so cool, guys. Look at me pulling out those really current pop culture references.
You do it, man.
I'm doing
you
it.
Do it. I'm so proud of you.
So I think that's going to break us down basically to the week that was down here in Port Charles. Look at that. It's been several weeks since we've been together. But boy, these recaps made it feel like no time had passed at all, which is, I don't know if that's good or bad. In some ways, very frustrating on some of these story fronts here on Port Charles. But I'm hoping 2017, a whole new year, whole new story possibilities that could happen. I'm looking forward to some twists and turns. I hope you folks are as well. And don't rest assured, we'll be covering it every single week here, Sunday nights at 5:30 here, or thereabouts, here on AfterBuzz TV. But for this week, this is going to be the last part of the Sunday soap block here. The Restless wrap-up, as well as the Bold Breakdown, will not be happening this evening because Lucretia and James are both out of town. So it'll just be the end of the soap block here with GH Report, but we'll be back next week, and next week's the 15th, right? Yes, next week is the 15th.
Yes,
so,
I believe so.
you know who's going to be back in here, ladies and gentlemen? The one, the only, James Lott Jr. He will be back in this chair, making you all excited. Making you forget about this terrible travesty of a show that I put forward
you
to.
shut your mouth. I was part of the show too. You can't call it a travesty.
I was the part of the show that was terrible. Alexis was part of the show that was great. So
I'm gonna make you positive for 2017, Frank. It's gonna happen.
is that gonna happen?
Yep, that's my only resolution.
Wow, all right.
It's not to get married. It's not to have a great year. It's just to make sure that Frank stays positive.
You know what? I'm positive you did
Oh
great.
yeah, see, even Mark said it in the booth. He was like, "Stay positive, Frank."
I'm trying, guys. I'll try. I'll try.
Oh, and Juliet says, "Love you, Frank."
Oh my gosh! Thank you, Juliet. That means so much. Oh, look at that. So, folks, we're going to call it a wrap right now. But, you know, folks, like us on Facebook. Give us those 5 stars on iTunes. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hop in the chat. Usually, Lucretia's here. She's got a computer. James has it as well, so they're able to kind of read and comment on what you guys are talking about in the chat. They'll be back here next week.
Busy, so no worries.
Oh, awesome. So look at that. Thank you so much, Alexis. My voice to the side, who kept me on the straight and narrow throughout this whole episode. I couldn't have done it without you. You did amazing as always, and lifted up this mediocre talent.
Woo, and they're all saying great job.
Oh, guys, look at that. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you for starting off 2017 with a kind lie. I appreciate that so much. Folks, you can, of course, like our Facebook page. We are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds away from 2,000 likes, our next milestone, where James Lott Jr. will basically just do anything that you want for you, because he's going to, that's how awesome that prize is going to be. When we hit 2,000 likes, man, oh, holy cow. It's a James Lott Jr. lottery that you're going to be winning. I'm really setting James Lott Jr. up for this. But in the meantime, folks, as I said, follow us on all those social media platforms. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want to continue the conversation on Twitter about anything GH related, or just about anything at all. Just ask me about my favorite pizza or what kind of pie I like. Go ahead and do that too. I'll answer. I'm happy to do that. You can do that at Happy Go Jackie, and we will see you back here 1 week from tonight, back here in the GH Report with James Lott Jr., Lucretia Lyon, and myself, and Alexis, as always, in the booth. Happy New Year, everybody!
Bye, y'all.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.